New Year in the 70s was a festive occasion where families came together, chit-chat, and of course have those lavish meals. The traditions surrounding New Year's Eve lunches in the 1970s were a mix of the classic, the glamorous, and the new experimental dishes that were making their way into American homes. So, as we look back on the culinary delights of the 1970s, we can appreciate how food, much like the era itself, was an experience to be savored. 1. Prime rib roast.
That is right, we have made it to the holiday rib roast. I'm literally standing in beef fat right now. I'm like running out of light and I'm trying to film this as fast as possible before—
A prime rib roast, also known as standing rib roast, was a true showstopper at New Year's Eve lunches in the 1970s. Known for its rich marbling and tender texture, prime rib became the centerpiece of many holiday meals. Start by cooking your prime rib at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, and then lower the oven temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and cook for 10 to 12 minutes per pound for rare, or 13 to 14 minutes per pound for medium rare, or 14 to 15 minutes per pound for medium well. Roast your prime rib until the thermometer registers 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit for rare, 125 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare, 135 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for medium, and 145 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit for medium well. Remove your roast from the refrigerator about 1 hour before cooking to give it time to come to room temperature. Season it with a little bit of salt and cover it lightly with plastic wrap while it rests. Combine the salt, pepper, fresh thyme, rosemary, garlic, and olive oil, then rub it all over the outside of the roast. Place a bone-in roast with the bones down in a cast iron, roasting, or other oven-safe pan. Place a boneless rib roast on top of a rack and then in your pan. Cook the boneless or bone-in prime rib at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes and then reduce the oven temperature to 325 degrees and continue cooking until the meat is 5 to 10 degrees away from the desired doneness temperature. Remove the prime rib from the oven, then tent the entire roast with foil. Allow it to rest for 30 minutes. Resting the meat is essential as it allows the juices to seal back into the meat. If you cut the meat too soon, the juices will run out and it will be chewy. Cut the kitchen string holding the roast to the bones, if using a bone-in roast, and remove the bones before carving. Serve the best prime rib recipe with mashed potatoes, wedge salad, and homemade rolls. It is best served with horseradish sauce or warm, rich au jus. The prime rib roast symbolized extravagance and was a favorite of families who loved to share a hearty traditional meal to ring in the new year. Coming after the highly flavored and rich prime rib roast is the next dish that offers a slightly leaner and more delicate option. 2. Pork tenderloin.
And today we're making a roasted pork tenderloin. It's a really inexpensive cut of meat. It's so easy to prepare, it takes hardly any prep time.
Pork tenderloin, also known as pork fillet, is a thin and long rectangular cut of pork from the loin muscle. It was, at times, coated in apple cider or a rich, tangy sauce, which added a sweet contrast to the savory meat taste. This dish became popular not only for its delicious flavor, but also because it offered a lighter alternative to heavier meats like beef, making it an excellent choice for those who wanted to enjoy a festive lunch without feeling overly stuffed. It is prepared by preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Line the baking sheet with aluminum foil. In a small bowl, combine garlic, basil, oregano, thyme, parsley, and sage, then set aside. Generously season meat with salt and pepper. In a large pan, heat oil until shimmery. Add meat to pan and cook on all sides until dark golden brown dot. Transfer to baking sheet. Generously coat with herb mix. Place pats of butter on top of the meat. Wrap in foil. Bake until meat is 145 degrees internally at the widest, thickest part of the tenderloin, about 25 minutes for a 2 lb roast. When pork has come to temperature, remove and let rest, tented with foil, for at least 5 minutes to lock in juices. Slice against the grain and serve immediately. Pork tenderloin was often served alongside roasted vegetables or mashed potatoes, completing the meal in a way that felt both elegant and comforting. This succulent and juicy pork is followed by the next dish, which brings a rich and luxurious dish to the buffet table. 3. Scalloped potatoes.
Today's recipe, I'm going to show you how to make my favorite side dish, I think ever, which is scalloped potatoes.
Scalloped potatoes, also known as potatoes gratin or patates au gratin, is one of the most common gratin. It was a beloved side dish at many New Year's Eve lunches. Scalloped potatoes are prepared by putting slices of boiled potato in a buttered fireproof dish, sprinkled with cheese, and browned in the oven. The sliced raw potatoes may also be baked in a liquid or sauce that steams them and forms a golden crust crust on top. According to the recipe of Marcel Boulestin, scalloped potatoes are prepared by baking large floury potatoes in the oven, then halved and the flesh scooped from the skins. The flesh is mashed with butter, cream, grated cheese, and seasoning. The mix is then scooped back into the skins, arranged in a baking dish, sprinkled with grated cheese, and browned in the oven or under the grill. This preparation is also called twice-baked potatoes. The creamy texture of the potatoes paired beautifully with the richness of the prime rib or the indulgence of beef Wellington. Scalloped potatoes were comfort food at its finest, providing a satisfying and hearty addition to the meal. The creamy, comforting richness of the scalloped potatoes is followed by a dish with a touch of elegance. 4. Lobster tail.
You do not have to go to a fancy restaurant to enjoy restaurant-quality lobster tail.
Lobster tail was another luxurious offering that many New Year's Eve lunches featured during the 1970s. It is made with large lobster tails, smothered with a buttery garlic herb sauce, then broiled under high heat, which makes these lobster tails tender and juicy. This meal takes less than 20 minutes from preparation to broiling. You preheat the oven to broil or 500 degrees. Start by preparing the lobster. Use the kitchen shears to butterfly the tail by cutting down the center. Loosen the meat and pull the lobster meat upward. Salt and pepper the meat and set on a baking sheet. In a small bowl, whisk together the melted butter, garlic, paprika, thyme, rosemary, and parsley. Spread evenly on each one. Broil the lobster for about 8 to 10 minutes or until the meat is opaque and lightly brown on the top. Lobster tail meal can be paired beautifully with a glass of champagne or a crisp white wine, creating an unforgettable dining experience. For many, lobster tail was the perfect indulgence, an exciting departure from everyday meals, and a true treat to enjoy during the holiday season. It was often served alongside the main course or as an indulgent treat for those seeking a lighter seafood option. After the delicate and luxurious flavors of the lobster tail, the next is a hearty, indulgent dish. 5. Beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington is one of those dishes everybody knows about. You've seen Gordon Ramsay react to it on social media. Every time someone makes a very questionable one, he's on it.
Beef Wellington was, in every sense of the word, an extravagant meal fit for a grand dining experience. Beef Wellington is a steak dish of English origin, made out of filet steak, coated with pâté, often pâté de foie gras, and duxelles. Duxelles is a French term used for a mixture of finely chopped mushrooms, shallots, and herbs sautéed in butter, wrapped in short crust pastry, then baked. Some recipes include wrapping the coated meat in prosciutto or dry-cured ham to retain its moisture and prevent it from becoming soggy. Wrap each piece of beef tightly in a triple layer of cling film to set its shape, then chill overnight. Remove the cling film, then quickly sear the beef fillets in a hot pan with a little olive oil for 30 to 60 seconds until browned all over and rare in the middle. Remove from the pan and leave to cool. Finally, chop the mushrooms and fry in a hot pan with a little olive oil, the thyme leaves, and some seasoning. When the mushrooms begin to release their juices, continue to cook over a high heat for about 10 minutes until all the excess moisture has evaporated and you are left with a mushroom paste. Remove the duxelle from the pan and leave to cool. Cut the pastry in half, place on a lightly floured surface, and roll each piece into a rectangle large enough to envelop one of the beef fillets. Chill in the refrigerator. Lay a large sheet of cling film on a work surface and place 4 slices of Parma ham in the middle, overlapping them slightly to create a square. Spread half the duxelle evenly over the ham. Season the beef fillets, then place them on top of the mushroom-covered ham. Using the cling film, roll the Parma ham over the beef, then roll and tie the cling film to get a nice, evenly thick log. Repeat this step with the other beef fillet, then chill for at least 30 minutes. Brush the pastry with the egg wash. Remove the cling film from the beef, then wrap the pastry around each ham-wrapped fillet. Trim the pastry and brush all over with the egg wash. Cover with cling film, chill for at least 30 minutes, and then make the red wine sauce. Heat the oil in a large pan, then fry the beef trimmings for a few minutes until browned on all sides. Stir in the shallots with the peppercorns, bay, and thyme, and continue to cook for about 5 minutes, stirring frequently until the shallots turn golden brown. Pour in the vinegar and let it bubble for a few minutes until almost dry. Now add the wine and boil until almost completely reduced. Add the stock and bring to the boil again. Lower the heat and simmer gently for 1 hour, removing any scum from the surface of the sauce until you have the desired consistency. Strain the liquid through a fine sieve lined with muslin. Check for seasoning and set aside. When you are ready to cook the beef Wellingtons, score the pastry lightly and brush with the egg wash again. Then bake at 200 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes until the pastry is golden brown and cooked. It is often served with rich gravy or a red wine sauce. Beef Wellington was not only visually striking, but also packed with flavor. Its complexity and depth made it a meal fit for a New Year's celebration, offering a sense of extravagance that was emblematic of the 1970s. 1970s. Following the grandeur of beef Wellington, the next meal is a more approachable yet equally satisfying dish. 6. Chicken cordon bleu.
We're making a delicious chicken cordon bleu, so let's get started.
While beef Wellington might have been the choice for many beef lovers, chicken cordon bleu quickly became a favorite for those who preferred chicken. Cordon bleu is a French-inspired dish involving chicken breasts stuffed with ham and Swiss cheese, breadcrumbs, simple spices, and fried until golden brown, creating a crispy, flavorful exterior while maintaining a juicy, tender center. You cover the chicken cutlets with plastic wrap and pound with a mallet to create thin, even pieces. Thoroughly season the chicken with salt and pepper. Top each piece of chicken with 1 slice of Swiss cheese and 1 slice of ham. Roll the chicken vertically so that the ham and cheese are contained. Secure each roll with a toothpick. Arrange the chicken rolls in a prepared baking dish. Sprinkle evenly with breadcrumbs. Bake until the chicken is no longer pink. Top each roll with half a slice of Swiss and continue baking until the cheese is melted. This recipe should be fully cooked after 30 to 35 minutes in an oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Chicken cordon bleu is traditionally topped with a decadent cream sauce made with Parmesan cheese and Dijon mustard. It is also often paired with vegetables or rice, making it a balanced yet decadent dish to celebrate New Year's Eve with friends and family. Following the indulgent and cheesy flavors of the chicken cordon bleu is a meal that is lighter and more refreshing. 7. Green bean almondine. For those seeking a lighter vegetable option, green bean almondine was a go-to side dish in the 1970s. Green beans almondine is a French dish that consists of green beans cooked in butter and seasonings, then topped with toasted slivered almond. Place beans into a microwave-safe casserole dish with enough water to cover the bottom. Microwave on high power until almost tender for about 8 to 10 minutes. Drain in a colander and refresh under cold running water to keep them bright green in color. Heat a frying pan over medium heat. Add almonds and cook until just starting to turn golden, about 3 to 5 minutes, watching closely so as to not burn. Take the pan off of heat and add butter to melt. Return to heat and add garlic. Mix in green beans, season with salt and pepper, and continue to stir until heated through for about 3 to 5 minutes. After the vibrant crunch of the green bean almondine, the next meal took a lighter turn by having a crisp and tangy flavor. 8. Caesar salad.
Caesar salad. It must be one of the most popular salads out there all over America.
Caesar salad was a popular addition to New Year's Eve lunches in the 1970s. With its crisp romaine lettuce, tangy dressing, and crunchy croutons, Caesar salad was the perfect balance to the richness of the main course. A Caesar salad is a green salad of romaine lettuce and croutons dressed with lemon juice, olive oil, eggs, Worcestershire sauce, anchovies, garlic, Dijon mustard, Parmesan, and black pepper. You gather all the ingredients, mash anchovy fillets and garlic in a large salad bowl. Add lemon juice, red wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, egg yolk, and Worcestershire sauce. Whisk until smooth and creamy. Then you gradually stream in olive oil while whisking constantly. Season with salt and black pepper. Gently mix romaine lettuce and Parmesan cheese into dressing until thoroughly coated. Serve salad topped with croutons. Following the crisp, tangy flavors of the Caesar salad, a dish with a touch of sweetness made its way to the table. The glazed carrots, with their tender texture and subtle sweetness, provided a perfect balance to the refreshing greens. 9. Glazed carrots. Glazed carrots were a staple at many festive New Year's Eve lunches, offering a sweet and savory contrast to the more indulgent dishes on the table. Glazed carrots are a vegetable side dish in Europe and the United States made with carrots caramelized in butter and brown sugar, sometimes with the addition of an acidic ingredient like orange juice. Gather all your ingredients. Place carrots into a large saucepan. Pour in enough water to reach a depth of 1 inch and bring to a boil. Reduce heat to low, cover, and simmer carrots until tender. This should be done in about 8 to 10 minutes. Drain and transfer to a bowl. Melt butter in the same saucepan over low heat. Stir in brown sugar, salt, and white pepper until dissolved. Add carrots to the saucepan and toss until coated in the brown sugar mixture. Cook and stir until carrots are heated through and fully coated with glaze. 1 to 3 more minutes. You can serve alongside a weeknight meatloaf, a Sunday ham, or your Thanksgiving turkey. After the sweet warmth of the glazed carrots, the next meal is a show-stopping dessert. 10. Baked Alaska.
Today, we're going to be making a baked Alaska. We'll actually be making a few. I've got a few decoration tips to show you. This is a recipe you're gonna love. It's
Baked Alaska is a delicious dessert that was particularly popular during the 1970s, especially for celebratory events like New Year's Eve. This dessert consists of cake, ice cream, and meringue, which was baked until golden brown, creating a beautiful contrast between the cold ice cream and the warm, crispy meringue. You place the sponge cake on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Layer the ice cream on top of the sponge cake and freeze until firm, at least 2 hours. Preheat your oven broiler and in a clean, dry bowl, whip the egg whites until soft peaks form. Gradually add sugar and lemon juice and continue whipping until stiff peaks form. Take the cake out of the freezer. Work quickly to spread the meringue over the ice cream and cake. Place under the oven for 1 to 2 minutes until browned, or use a kitchen torch to brown the meringue. Serve immediately. Following the theatrical and indulgent flair of the Baked Alaska, the meal transitioned to a smoother, more velvety dessert. The rich and creamy chocolate mousse offered a satisfying depth of flavor, providing a perfect, luxurious finish to the sweet course. 11. Chocolate mousse.
We're making chocolate mousse, so let's get started.
Many New Year's Eve lunches in the 1970s served chocolate mousse as a part of a dessert course. Its smooth, velvety texture and rich chocolate flavor made it the perfect treat for those with a sweet tooth. Break up or chop chocolate into small pieces and set aside with butter. Add egg yolks, sugar, water, and salt to a metal mixing bowl. Cook, whisking directly over medium-low heat until the mixture is thick, foamy, and hot to the touch, 145 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the yolk mixture is thick and hot, add chocolate and butter and whisk until all chocolate is melted. Let rest for a few minutes on the counter, whisking occasionally to further cool the mixture to just above or at room temperature. The chocolate mixture shouldn't go into the whipped cream while still warm, but if cooled too long, the mixture may get too firm to fold in. Whisk cold cream until medium stiff peaks form. If cream is whisked further, it will separate and the final texture will be grainy. Transfer about 1/3 of the chocolate mixture into whipped cream and fold with a spatula until almost incorporated. Gently fold in remaining chocolate, trying to keep as much air in the mixture as possible. Transfer into 4 serving dishes, wrap and chill before serving at least 1 hour. After the smooth richness of the chocolate mousse, the next meal took on a more spiced, comforting tone. 12. Rum cake.
If you've never had a homemade rum cake, you're missing out. It's buttery, melt in your mouth amazingness, flavored with dark rum, and yes, it's topped with a butter rum sauce that is amazing.
Rum cake was another popular dessert at New Year's Eve lunches, often associated with a sense of celebration and indulgence. The rich, moist cake was flavored with dark rum and often served with a glaze or icing. The boozy flavor made it a festive choice for adults, while the dense texture of the cake made it incredibly satisfying after a long, indulgent meal. Rum cake was a favorite among those looking for a dessert with a bit of punch, both in flavor and spirit. 13. Jello salad.
Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you how to make the most delicious Mexican fruit and jello salad.
Jello salad is an American salad made with flavored gelatin, fruit, and sometimes grated carrots. Other ingredients may include cottage cheese, cream cheese, marshmallows, nuts, or pretzels. Jello salads were popular in the early 20th century and are now considered retro. Because of its many elements, the result has speckled bits of interior color against a colored gelatin background, and so the dish can be appreciated for its colorful visual appeal. For example, a Jello salad might have green from a lime-flavored gelatin, brown from nuts or pretzels, white from bits of cottage cheese, and red and orange from fruit cocktail. Therefore, it has a salad appearance, although it is held firm in gelatin, like aspic. The salad theme is more pronounced in variants containing mayonnaise or another salad dressing. When the dish has plain gelatin instead of sweetened gelatin, the use of vegetables is more common, for example, tomato aspic. It provided a fun, textural contrast to the other more savory dishes. After the vibrant and refreshing Jello salad, the next meal took on a more savory direction. 14. Cheese and crackers platters.
This is basically the art of making and assembling a meat and cheese platter, and I'm going to show you how to make one that'll impress everyone.
A cheese platter with an assortment of crackers was another essential appetizer at any New Year's Eve lunch. This was the epitome of easy yet classy finger food. From brie to cheddar, Gouda to Swiss, the variety of cheeses on display made this platter a versatile and visually appealing centerpiece. Adding a handful of olives or pickles could elevate the presentation, while different textures and flavors in the crackers complemented the cheeses perfectly. Paired with a glass of wine or a light cocktail, this dish was perfect for guests to nibble on as they mingled. Following the savory simplicity of the cheese and cracker platters, the meal is elevated further with the addition of baguette slices. 15. Canapés. A canapé is a type of starter, a small, prepared, and often decorative food, consisting of a small piece of bread, sometimes toasted, or cracker, wrapped or topped with some savory food, held in the fingers and often eaten in one bite. Because they are often served during cocktail hours, it is often desired that a canapé be either salty or spicy, in order to encourage guests to drink more. Start by slicing the French stick into thin baguette slices. Next, slice the panini into two and cut into small 1-inch squares. Put the olive oil into a bowl and grind some salt and pepper to season. Lay the bread out on a baking tray and brush it with the salt and olive oil before placing it into a hot oven at 140 degrees for around 10 minutes. Take out and allow to cool. While the bread is cooling, prepare all your toppings on a board ready to build. Once cooled, start building your canapés by adding the toppings of your choice. After the elegant and flavorful canapés, the meal moved to a classic favorite. The creamy, tangy deviled eggs provided a comforting yet savory contrast, adding a familiar touch to the sophisticated spread. 16. Deviled eggs. Deviled eggs, also known as stuffed eggs, are hard-boiled eggs that have been peeled, cut in half, with the yolk scooped out and then refilled, having been mixed with other ingredients such as mayonnaise, mustard, and sprinkled with paprika, cinnamon, or curry powder dot. They are generally served cold as a side dish, appetizer, or a main course during gatherings or parties. The dish is popular in Europe, North America, and Australia. Cooled hard-boiled eggs are peeled and halved lengthwise, with the yolks then removed. The yolk is then mashed and mixed with a variety of other ingredients. These usually incorporate a fat-based product, such as butter, heavy cream, or mayonnaise, with spicy and/or piquant ingredients to contrast taste and sometimes texture. The yolk mixture is then scooped into each egg cup formed by the firm egg whites. Ingredient choices vary widely and there is no standard recipe. Although mayonnaise is most common, some recipes use butter, and sweet pickle relish sometimes replaces the sour pickles. Following the creamy and tangy deviled eggs, the next meal will introduce us to another savory treat. 17. Stuffed mushrooms.
Hey guys, today we're going to make stuffed mushrooms. This is always a favorite. I hope the taste testers are going to like this. I'm pretty confident that they will.
Stuffed mushrooms is a dish prepared using edible mushrooms as its primary ingredient. Many fillings can be used, and the dish is typically baked or broiled. The dish can have a meaty texture and serves as an hors d'oeuvre, side dish, or snack. Gather the ingredients. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Grease a baking sheet with cooking spray. Clean mushrooms with a damp paper towel. Carefully break stems from mushrooms. Finely chop stems and set caps aside. Heat oil in a large skillet over medium heat. Fry chopped mushroom stems and garlic in hot oil until any moisture has disappeared, taking care not to burn the garlic. 3 to 5 minutes. Spread mushroom mixture into a bowl to cool completely, about 10 minutes. Stir cream cheese, Parmesan cheese, black pepper, onion powder, and cayenne pepper into the cooled mushroom mixture until very thick and completely mixed. Use a small spoon to fill each mushroom cap with a generous amount of stuffing. Arrange stuffed mushrooms on the prepared cookie sheet. Bake in the preheated oven until piping hot and liquid starts to form under each cap for about 20 minutes. After the rich and savory stuffed mushrooms, the next meal took a refreshing turn. 18. Shrimp cocktail.
On the Stay-at-Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make shrimp cocktail with cocktail sauce.
No New Year's Eve celebration in the 70s was complete without a shrimp cocktail. This dish, which combined the crispness of chilled shrimp with a tangy, zesty cocktail sauce, became a staple at nearly every festive lunch. It is often served in a stemmed glass or a specially designed shrimp cocktail bowl. It is the perfect appetizer to enjoy with a chilled glass of white wine or a classic martini. The elegance of the dish made it an instant hit for those looking to add a touch of sophistication to their New Year's Eve celebrations. Shrimp served chilled with a tangy cocktail sauce, often presented in a tall glass, became a favorite appetizer for guests who desired something light but flavorful. Following the refreshing and zesty shrimp cocktail, the next meal will venture into even more luxurious territory. 19. Lobster Newburg.
If you're looking for an easy yet elegant recipe for the holidays or a special occasion, this lobster Newburg is just for you.
Lobster Newburg is an American seafood dish made with lobster, butter, cream, cognac, sherry, and eggs, with a secret ingredient found to be cayenne pepper. Whisk the cream and egg yolks together in a small bowl until well blended. Melt butter in a saucepan over low heat. Stir in cream mixture and sherry. Cook, stirring constantly until mixture thickens, 5 to 8 minutes. Remove from the heat and season with salt, cayenne, and nutmeg. Stir in lobster. Return to the stove and cook gently over low heat until heated through, about 5 minutes. After the creamy decadence of lobster Newburg, the next meal will shift to a hearty, comforting classic. 20. Beef stroganoff.
Today we are making classic beef stroganoff with tender strips of beef and mushrooms in an incredible creamy sauce.
Beef stroganoff is a Russian dish of sautéed pieces of beef in a sauce of mustard and smetana, sour cream. From its origins in mid-19th century Tsarist Russia, it has become popular around the world, with considerable variation from the original recipe. Remove any fat and gristle from the chuck roast, cut into strips, season with half teaspoon salt and half teaspoon pepper. Melt butter in a large skillet over medium heat. Add beef and brown quickly. Push beef to one side of the skillet. Add onions. Cook and stir for 3 to 5 minutes, then push to the side with beef. Stir flour into juices on the empty side of the pan. Pour in beef broth and bring to a boil, stirring constantly. Lower the heat and stir in mustard. Cover and simmer for 1 hour or until the beef is tender. 5 minutes before serving, stir in mushrooms, sour cream, and white wine. Cook until heated through. Season with salt and pepper. It can be enjoyed served over hot cooked noodles. Following the hearty richness of beef stroganoff, the meal lightened with the creamy and comforting clam chowder. Its smooth texture and briny flavor provided a refreshing contrast, offering warmth and depth without overwhelming the palate. 21. Clam chowder.
Homemade clam chowder is easy and such a treat. It's creamy but light and so satisfying.
Clam chowder is any of several chowder soups in American cuisine containing clams. In addition to clams, common ingredients like diced potatoes, salt pork, and onions are included. It is believed that clams were used in chowder because of the relative ease of harvesting them. Place potatoes, carrots, celery, and onion into a large skillet. Pour in clam juice and add enough water to cover. Cook and stir over medium-low heat until vegetables are tender. Meanwhile, melt butter in a large, heavy saucepan over medium heat. Whisk in flour until smooth. Whisk in cream and stir constantly until thick and smooth. Stir in vegetable mixture with any juices until just heated through dot. Stir in clams just before serving. If they cook too much, they get tough. When clams are heated through, stir in vinegar and season with salt and pepper. The warm, creamy richness of the clam chowder gave way to something lighter and fresher. A simple yet flavorful dish followed, offering a crisp and smoky balance to the meal's indulgent beginning. 22. Grilled asparagus.
I'm showing you how to make perfect grilled asparagus.
Grilled asparagus is a simple but savory dish, one that was made by drizzling grilled asparagus in olive oil and topped with lemon zest. Gather all the ingredients and preheat an outdoor grill for high heat and lightly oil the grate. Lightly coat the asparagus spears with olive oil. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Cook asparagus on the preheated grill, turning often until lightly charred and fork tender about 3 to 5 minutes. It can be paired well with both beef and seafood. The next meal after the bright and refreshing flavors of grilled asparagus is a creamy one. 23. Quiche Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine is a hearty French tart with a filling of cream, eggs, and bacon or ham in an open pastry case. It is a versatile dish that could be served warm or at room temperature, making it a convenient yet delicious option for lunch. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Place pie pastry into a 9-inch pie pan. Line with a double layer of aluminum foil and a layer of pie weights or dried beans. Bake in the preheated oven until golden on the edges, about 8 minutes. Carefully remove the foil and weights. Continue baking until the crust is set and dry. About 5 minutes more. Remove from the oven and reduce the temperature to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. While the crust is baking, cook bacon in a large skillet over medium-high heat until crisp, about 10 minutes. Transfer to a paper towel-lined plate and crumble when cool enough to handle. Drain all but 2 tablespoons drippings from the skillet. Add onion to drippings in the skillet. Cook and stir over medium heat until tender, about 5 minutes. Use a slotted spoon and transfer to a bowl. Toss Swiss cheese and flour together in a small bowl. Whisk milk, eggs, and salt together in a large bowl. Then stir in bacon and onion. Mix in cheese mixture until well combined, then pour into pie crust. Bake in the preheated oven until a knife inserted into the center comes out clean, 35 to 40 minutes. If necessary, cover the edge of the crust with foil while baking to prevent burning or overbrowning. Let stand for 10 minutes before serving. After the comforting and creamy flavors of the quiche, the next dish introduced a touch of refined elegance. 24. Pâté en croûte. Pâté en croûte is a delicious meat pie wrapped in hot water crust pastry and often served as a luxurious starter or part of a cold appetizer spread, offering richness and savory depth. To make the pastry, bring the water and lard up to the boil, then pour into the flour and mix. Add in the eggs and, once cool enough to handle, knead for 5 minutes. Take a third of the dough and set it aside. Roll out the remaining 2/3 of dough into a sheet around 5 millimeters thick and leave to cool. Separately, roll out the dough for the lid to the same thickness. creaminess. Place the minced pork shoulder in a bowl along with the diced pancetta and loin, chopped garlic and sage, and mix thoroughly. Season with pink salt and white pepper and fry off a small amount to check the seasoning. Chop the foie gras into neat cubes, then gently fold it into the mixture. Line a 30 centimeters terrine mold with the bigger sheet of pastry and fill with the pie mix. Top the terrine with the pastry lid and seal by trimming the lid and the overhang, then rolling the sides neatly back onto the top of the pie. Preheat an oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Make 5 holes at either end of the lid. Make little funnels out of tin foil and place them into each of the holes. Egg wash the rest of the pie. Bake for 20 minutes. Then reduce the temperature to 180 gas mark and continue cooking until the internal temperature reads 65 degrees. Leave to cool, then place in the fridge to chill completely. Once the pie is chilled, make the jelly. Soak the gelatine leaves in cold water for 5 minutes and heat the beef tea until just below simmering. Squeeze the gelatine leaves to drain, then stir them into the liquid until dissolved. Transfer to a jug and carefully pour the jelly into the pie until it reaches the top of the pie. Remove the funnels and return the pie to the fridge to set. When ready to serve, slice with a serrated knife and enjoy at room temperature with cornichons and mustard. Following the rich and savory pâté en croûte, a lighter and more delicate dish made its appearance. 25. Rice pilaf. Rice pilaf was another classic side dish that appeared at New Year's Eve lunches in the 1970s. Pilaf is a rice dish, usually sautéed, or in some regions a wheat dish, whose recipe usually involves sautéing rice in butter before simmering it in broth with a variety of seasonings. Often, it was enhanced with the addition of toasted almonds, peas, or herbs, adding complexity and texture to the rice. Some cooks prefer to use basmati rice because it is easier to prepare a pilaf where the grains stay light, fluffy, and separate with this type of rice. However, other types of long grain rice are also used. The rice is rinsed thoroughly before use to remove the surface starch. Pilaf can be cooked in water or stock. Common additions include fried onions and fragrant spices like cardamom, bay leaves, and cinnamon. Rice pilaf is usually made with meat or vegetables, but it can also be made plain. On special occasions, saffron may be used to give the rice a yellow color. Pilaf is often made by adding the rice to hot fat and stirring briefly before adding the cooking liquid. The fat used varies from recipe to recipe. Cooking methods vary with respect to details such as pre-soaking the rice and steaming after boiling. These lunches weren't just about filling bellies. They were about creating memories, savoring moments, and honoring the tradition of bringing people together around the table. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos. Until next time, see you in the next video.